Now, this is what I call a bittersweet blind item. It reads, the offspring of the illiterate talk show host is stealing money from her again, which is about Wendy Williams and Kevin Hunter Jr. And while I don't like to hear that someone's stealing Wendy's money, because it seems like that happens time and time again, I am glad to hear a Wendy update. Ever since the release of her documentary, she's been MIA. This person commented, I mean, I'd rather her blood relative son steal from her than her ex or any of her handlers. This person wrote, he probably never stopped stealing from her. And it is weird to see her son Kevin hosting this party when we haven't seen any updates from his mom. He was evicted from his apartment. I don't know why you wouldn't like save the funds that year for maybe a better birthday next year. The festivities will be held 2 days after his actual birthday, August 18th. And it looks like he was hanging out at the Magic City, at the strip club. He even promoted his birthday event on his Instagram where someone commented, where's your mom? Another person wrote, wow, this is what he's doing with his mom's money. And then another person added, poor Wendy. And it does seem like he has a lack of remorse for a situation his mother's in, and the whole world is waiting on an update. Well, it doesn't seem like Kevin Hunter Jr. is waiting for an update.
I think the amount of money that they questioned Kevin about for spending was like $100,000. To put in perspective, Kevin's birthday party that year that his mom threw was $120,000. Kevin's rent was $80,000. Kevin's Uber Eats probably exceeded $100,000 that his mom approves.
Have you ever taken money from your mother's account?
Not without her consent.
Now, as I said, this is a bittersweet update because we've actually seen updates that Wendy's out and about. This headline reads, upbeat Wendy Williams spotted for the first time in more than a year in New Jersey. It looks like she was at a holistic store in New Jersey, and an employee told Page 6, Wendy appeared sharp, upbeat, and aware, and was very bubbly, which I love to hear. Sounds like my Wendy Williams is back. The employee continued that Wendy was engaging, but wasn't familiar with what we do here, so her son was explaining things. She talked about circulation improvement. We know she has several health issues, but she did not get into detail.
We're finding out more about this recent sighting of Wendy Williams. Apparently, she was in New Jersey at Dr. Sebi's son's holistic store. If you remember the Where is Wendy Williams documentary, Kevin Jr. had said when Wendy Williams was under his care, he had her eating right and trying all different kinds of things. As you also know, Wendy was recently diagnosed with dementia. It will be interesting to see or get an update as to where is Wendy Williams when it comes to the guardianship, how often is her family seeing her, and she looks great, and hopefully this holistic journey will be fruitful for her.
I want to reiterate to you guys that this sighting is big news. It's the first time we've seen her since March 2023, so we can confirm, yes, she's alive. Our next blind item is about Barry Keoghan and Sabrina Carpenter. At this point, the foreign-born A-list actor is using the coffee singer as his pickup move with other women. And it's like, hey, you want to go out with me? My girlfriend, Sabrina Carpenter. Tell me why I'm not surprised. This person commented, Dumoy says she broke up with him. Another person added, Barry Keoghan and Sabrina Carpenter, I hope she's happy with whatever the hell is going on with this relationship. We reported recently on the channel that Barry was dumped by Sabrina over his crazy partying. The couple seemed solid, with Barry being Sabrina's #1 fan at her Coachella performance. I'll say it time and time again, Coachella is where the relationships come through. It's like a fake universe. People will fall in love and then they get back to LA and they're like, ew, don't even touch me. Rumor has it they parted ways 3 weeks ago, Sabrina focusing on her tour. It looks like Barry's love for the nightlife was a deal breaker for Sabrina. It also was an issue for his baby mama. He is Irish, and the source claimed he's always been a party animal, and Sabrina is fed up with his antics. She is soaring in the charts and putting herself first as she gears up for her tour next month. Last month, fans sensed trouble when they decoded clues in Sabrina's latest music video featuring Barry. And it looks like this song in general isn't a big, a big win for Barry, despite it being a song about him. It kind of goes on the defense of Sabrina, that this guy is a troublemaker, he's problematic, and he's bound to embarrass her.
I called it short and sweet for multiple reasons. Like, it was not because I'm vertically challenged.
That right there is what we call a massive Easter egg, because a lot of the songs on the album sound kind of like revengey breakup songs, and it has people wondering, with the coincidental timeline of this breakup and the immediate release of the album, was their whole relationship even real, or was it entirely PR? He was in her music video. It's very mutually beneficial, and this isn't uncommon in the industry. So it is somewhat likely that these two broke up sometime around like April, May, and that's when she wrote a lot of these songs that have kind of a salty undertone, which are jams, bangers. We love them.
Let's talk a little bit about Ice Spice. The frozen flavoring singer can say what she wants, but everyone knows she's using the weekly weight loss shot. She never goes to the gym, which is about Ice Spice and Ozempic. This is another blind item I'm not surprised about. I mean, everyone's on Ozempic, and like, I'm not really against it as long as we've got enough for the diabetic people. You know what I mean? Like, if people want to like be healthier, it seems like it's helping people, right? Comment below. This person commented, so what? You can only be thin if you go to the gym or take Ozempic? At her age? Please. Ice Spice recently shut down comments on social media that she had lost weight. With everyone sucking up, it looks like life is just being sucked out of them. She had to respond.
Ice Spice is looking to shed her curves. Bronx rapper has been taking Ozempic to get thinner in attempts to get a larger fan base. A person with direct knowledge explained. Ice Spice is trying to become more of a pop star and not so much a female rapper. She's looking to compete with some of the new up-and-coming artists like Tyler, and her team decided that you can't do that with huge BBLs. The insider told Media Takeout that Ice Spice has changed her diet and is using smaller doses of the diet drug Ozempic, and the change is pretty dramatic.
Now, I don't know if getting thinner gets you a larger fan base. Sometimes I feel like the fans like the thickness. Ice Spice said, I wish y'all never learned the word Ozempic. That's one thing I wish. Probably tired of having people comment the same thing. She goes on to say, you lazy B words, never heard of a gym? It's called the gym. It's called eating healthy. It's called being on tour. I mean, she is on tour, but granted, the dancing isn't too intense. I mean, it's not like Ice Spice is going to twerk her butt off tour because she's just burning so many calories. But getting into Chapel Roan, she's struggling, a different kind of struggle. The church singer is really struggling right now and needs a break. No one will let her though and keeps scheduling her for more and more. Chapel Roan is at this very particular point in her career. We don't see this happen too often with celebrities, and it's really a make or break moment where she could either like handle this and go the Lady Gaga route, or she could, you know, suffer at the immense pressure and then undeliver and fall into like the abyss of like, you know, one-hit wonders. This person commented, Chapel Roan, I hope she manages to have a break sometime soon. I don't know why people expect celebrities to be constantly putting out content, acting like dancing monkeys. One person wrote she went from like 1 million monthly listeners on Spotify to 40 million in 2 weeks. I don't blame her. I'd freak out too. This person commented, that's the problem with getting famous so fast on TikTok. Companies think they have to capitalize quickly before the trend dies. Which I get that. It kind of reminds me of like those people like Haktua Girl. Like if she doesn't go and get her bag right now, will it still be there? But Chapel Roan shares a raw video blasting entitled fans for creepy behavior. It looks like she is now declining photographs from fans. So if you go up to Chapel Roan, she will not be taking a selfie with you because she feels like these fans are entitled to something she doesn't want to give up. She said, I don't care that abuse and harassment, stalking, whatever, is a normal thing people do to who are famous or a little famous. Here, Chapel Roan explain her feelings in her own words.
I don't care that it's normal. I don't care that this crazy type of behavior comes along with the job, the career field I've chosen. That does not make it okay. That doesn't make it normal. It doesn't mean I want it. It doesn't mean that I like it. I don't want whatever the f you think you're supposed to be entitled to whenever you see a celebrity. I don't give a f if you think it's selfish of me to say no for a photo or for your time or for a hug. That's not normal. That's weird. It's weird how people think that you know a person just because you see them online or you listen to the art they make. That's fucking weird. I'm allowed to say no to creepy behavior, okay?
So she posted that video on social media and captioned it, do not assume this is directed at someone or a specific encounter. This is just my side of the story and my feelings. Which is kind of refreshing to see someone, you know, vulnerably talk about this and not wait till they get to the point like Lizzo where she lashes out on everyone and she can't defend herself. She said, if you saw a random woman on the street, would you yell at her from a car window? Would you harass her in public?
Would you go up to a random lady and say, can I get a photo with you? And she's like, no, what the f? And then you get mad at this random lady? Would you be offended if she says no to your time because she has her own time? Would you stalk her family? Would you follow her around? Would you try to dissect her life and bully her online? This is a lady you don't know. And she doesn't know you at all. Would you assume that she's a good person? Assume she's a bad person? Would you assume everything you read about her online is true?
We're going to send some good vibes to Chapel Roan. I hope you can hang in there. Do it for the gays, Chapel. But let's get into the straights, Gigi Hadid and Bradley Cooper. This barely there celebrity offspring of barely there celebrities decided she didn't want to be a beard any longer. Interesting. Now, my understanding of a beard is typically when a woman is dating a man who identifies as homosexual but doesn't want to identify as such, so they have a girlfriend, a public-facing girlfriend. Now, Gigi and Bradley have been dating recently, but Bradley feels breakup rumors with Gigi attending a family-oriented event without her. In case you missed it, it seems like so many of Taylor Swift's A-list pals went to her controversial Rhode Island mansion for a long pool party. It looks like Bradley Cooper brought his daughter Leah to join him, but where's Gigi Hadid? Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, the Mahomes, Travis Kelce, so many people were there. I would actually have an anxiety attack in that room. Like, imagine like all these people I've talked about on the internet. Oh God. Because of this, breakup rumors have started. Bradley brought his daughter and the Kelce's brought their daughter. So everyone had plus ones more than just plus ones.
Bradley Cooper and Gigi Hadid have split up and are taking their daughter on vacation alone. Cooper's failure to arrive with Hadid came as a shock to many. Considering Hadid is Taylor Swift's best friend and pretty close to Lively and Reynolds, it's strange that she didn't show up at the party. As a result, rumors of a breakup began to emerge. They have reportedly introduced their children to each other and discussed the problem of moving into a new home. Now there are signs that the couple seems to have split, but that's just speculation on the internet. A source said, Bradley Cooper is ready to propose to Gigi Hadid. He wants to take some time off to focus on this and give Gigi the attention and love she deserves. Hadid did not attend the house party because he was busy with work, so they're not breaking up. Are you expecting to hear about their engagement?
Now, nothing's confirmed yet, so don't go run off and try to get Bradley Cooper. I'm talking to the boys too. But I do believe they had broken up, especially because if they hadn't, they would have corrected the narrative. Celebrities hate when they're together and there's an update that they had broken up. It could cause like a lot of turmoil within the relationship. Like, how did this news get out there? So they typically go and correct it quickly, at least from what I've seen. Let's talk about Mr. Beast. We've got a video coming out about him. Not really a shocker. The A-list YouTube star who is watching his brand implode in real time uses child slavery to produce his chocolate. Well, that's a lot of chocolate actually in the US. We did a video about Nestle. Definitely go and check that out on the Let's Get Into It podcast. This person commented, almost all chocolate is a product of child labor and slavery. And if you didn't know, definitely go and watch that podcast episode. I explain how essentially like these companies get away from hiring child labor because they hire these farms. So they employ the farms and then the farms just get paid. And it doesn't matter what the farm does to get paid because an adult owns it. So a farm will have a bunch of slave children there working and they will tell like, you know, the chocolate company, hey, no, it's all adults here. And of course, they're not going to go and check. This person added, and kids still look up to him. I'm so over Mr. Beast. These claims suggest that the chocolate used in festivals might be sourced from suppliers involving child labor practices. Mr. Beast is known for all his charity work, so why don't you go and save the kids that are in these labor camps that you are funding?
I've been tracking all the Mr. Beast accusations, and while some are worse than others, I think this one is by far the worst. Mr. Beast and Feastables is using child labor and forced labor for their chocolates and has been since around late 2023. I believe that since the beginning of Feastables, Mr. Beast knew that he was going to use child labor and forced labor for his chocolates, but he tried to fool us into thinking otherwise. They proudly displayed that they were child labor free and slave labor free. As a matter of fact, in April of 2023, they doubled down and they added to their list of main menu options this option that said we're slave free. And if you clicked it, it had an entire dedicated page talking about how they were free of slave labor and child labor. But just a few months later, in October of 2023, that main page item that said we're slave free, that was removed. In addition, in the frequently asked questions section, that stuff about being child labor free and slave labor free, that stuff also disappeared. Later in May of 2024, and even to this day, there's no mention whatsoever at all about any kind of ethical sourcing of ingredients.
Honestly, sending good vibes to all those children forced in those camps, I just can't imagine like living that life. And like, I think everyone watching this should take a pause and just be appreciative for whatever situation you're in. If you're not in a slavery like situation, it makes me just mad to think that still happens. Next blind item, apparently this A-list celebrity had sex with the permanent A-list rapper on a plane just a few feet away from the kids. Oh God. No wonder Kim Kardashian doesn't want to keep Kanye around the kids. And it looks like Kanye may have been on a trip recently where this could have happened, going to South Korea. Kanye and Bianca are enjoying a blended family vacation, taking his kids to South Korea. Thank God Bianca wore a little bit more clothing for once, so her whole like kitty isn't out. for the children to see. You can see little Chicago, just 6 years old, in Bianca's arms as they go through the airport.
Bianca Sensori is all smiles on stepmom duty. The 29-year-old beamed while holding Kanye West's daughter Chicago 6 in South Korea on Wednesday. The rapper's other daughter, North 11, and son Psalm 5, walked at Sensori's side as they navigated the airport, while their 8-year-old brother, Saint, did not appear to be present.
Now, this is about Jane Fonda and Sydney Sweeney. This permanent A-list actress from an acting family is being relentless behind the scenes to try to get the remake of one of her movies killed. She also doesn't want the illiterate actress in the role. Jane Fonda does not want Sydney Sweeney to play a role that she had once played. This person wrote, "Jane is absolutely right. Camp masterpieces should be left alone, and Sydney is overrated." Camp is kind of like a category of comedy which is like even less serious, and it looks like Barbarella is possibly going to be remade with Sydney Sweeney, and Jane Fonda's not having it. I mean, Jane Fonda did warn J-Lo about creating this documentary and these movies, and she was right. And it looks like it's in the works. At least they're trying to. Sony's trying to. And this person's advocating for Sydney, saying that, you know, she's funny, she's dramatic, there's no one else who could play this role. It looks like there are some major players who are on Sydney Sweeney's side. Several big directors, writers, Edgar Wright, Honey Ross, and Jane Goldman. And Sydney Sweeney would be one of the producers, so she would be bringing in a lot of money.
Are you still developing Barbarella? Is Barbarella something that you want to do?
It is. I mean, Barbarella is just such a fun character to explore.
Yeah.
Like, she really just embraces her femininity and her sexuality, and I love that. Like, she uses sex as a weapon, and I think it's just such an interesting way into a sci-fi world, and I've always wanted to do sci-fi, so we'll see what happens.
Moving on to Nick Carter and Melissa Schumann. This is triggering. If you guys know, you know. This reads, the permanent boy bander must be pretty confident that the two people who watched him have sex with the singer, sometimes actress, will say there was no assault. Now, I don't like Nick Carter, and if you tell me something bad about him, I'm probably personally going to believe it. I'm not going to tell you guys to believe it, but my own personal interactions have shown me that this guy's a monster. One person commented, the wrong brother died. Oh my gosh, that is savage. Headlines read that Nick Carter is suing Melissa for $2.5 million. Melissa has told me how the producers, the executives, they tried to push these two together, which led to him attacking her in 2003, something that she's been very adamant about for a long time. She claims that he invited her to his Santa Monica, California apartment after they filmed the teen thriller The Hollow. She claims that she was given a sedative and he harmed her. He was 22 and she was just 18 years old. But he's claiming that these statements are false and that she's been going on and on for over 10 years about this. I must admit, I think I've spoken to her father before. So, like, I mean, I believe it. Here's a clip of Melissa sharing a little bit about her story.
I don't want to have sex. I'm saving myself for marriage. I don't want to have sex. I don't want to have sex. I told him so many times, I'm saving myself for my husband, my future husband. He's like, I could be your husband. And it was just disgusting. And that's when I felt him put something inside of me. And I didn't see it. I didn't try to see it. I asked him, Nick, what is that? And he said, it's all me, baby. It was this feeling of just like, this isn't real. And then eventually he goes, you're not enjoying this, are you? And I said, no. And I remember thinking to myself, this was just a bad dream. This is not real.
Now, it looks like Nick Carter's taking the perspective that she's acting in bad faith, looking for a paycheck, and that's about it. But she's going after this 2 decades later, over 20 years later. I can't imagine her wanting to deal with this. So again, it's hard for me to believe his side.
Okay, so there's something that I don't see anyone talking about, and it's this. Okay, this woman apparently has been trying to tell her story for years and years, and no one has believed her. And the thing about it is that it seems like there might be a pattern here. Aaron Carter was accusing his brother of this. He claims that Nick told him this, and their mother was like a hospice nurse at the time. So clearly this is a pattern of taking advantage of people who can't defend themselves. And then even a couple years before that, we had allegations being made from actually like another celebrity at the time, So I don't know, but where there's smoke, there's most definitely probably fire.
That's it for our blind item breakdown. What do you guys think of this week's episode? Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I love chatting with you guys. And thank you for the support on the Sloan Show. We're going to have our 4th episode come out this week. It's been really nice. And I love giving you guys some insight into my personal life. So stay tuned for more great content. If you guys have any stories for me, my email is SloanWellKnown@gmail.com. And until next time, I'll see you in my next video. Bye, guys.